and the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sports Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR Sports Bar and Grill.
Good Tuesday evening. Welcome into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. I'm Randy Lee alongside Luke Robinson tonight. We'll take your phone calls at 800-782-0108 or 256-234-6464. We'll be here with you until 9 o'clock. 3 or 4 guests that we'll have on tonight, Luke. We close out the program each week with an interview that we do with Brian Matthews on Sports Call that Andy Graham's able to catch up with, but a lot of other great guests that we'll have on tonight.
You know, we were hoping to get somebody from LSU on to discuss this situation and the Orgeron situation. It's so funny that Alabama and Auburn both have wins this weekend, and really the talk of the college football world, I think, beyond the shadow of a doubt, is this Les Miles thing. But everybody's pretty busy right now. But we do have 2 other fantastic guests, and you guys probably know all about these 2 women. I mean, it's sort of Up With Women night on Sports Blitz because we're going to have Heron Taylor. She's the young lady who chased down Jochen Wiest, the man from Germany who happened to be living in Auburn who set fire to the Tumors Corners trees. Well, Heron Taylor is going to be on the show with us to talk about that experience. And then we're also going to have Ashley Ward. I know you know about her because it was the hit in the face heard around the world, or at least around Lee County. She got totally Marsha Brady'd right there on national TV. And I remember distinctly when it happened. And as soon as it happened, I said, oh my God, that looked awful. I mean, it was almost cartoonish the way she fell out. And I said, I hope she's okay. That looked like it really hurt. And she sort of popped right up and started smiling. And then immediately, I don't know why I thought this, Randy, maybe it's just some of the social media stuff we do, but I said, I'm going to, somebody put her name out on Twitter not 5 minutes after it happened. And I said, I'm going to find out how many Twitter followers she has now and what it changes to. When I checked it, she had about 320 Twitter followers. She got 6,500 right now. So really getting hit in the face with a football, I bet you she's done no fewer than 10 interviews. Getting hit in the face with a football has turned her into a media mogul.
We've got a lot coming up for you tonight, and you've had a huge week this past week.
Oh,
This your first program back?
Shoot, let me think. No, I did the scoreboard show Friday night.
Okay, well, we'll kind of count that.
Okay, yeah, we'll count. Let me tell you what.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. For those who don't know, I had a baby girl last Monday. She's 8 days old today. Had some really just interesting moments with that, and I could go on and on, but I will tell a funny story really quickly. I've got 3 other children that live in Ohio. They're age 12, 9, and 6. And so I immediately FaceTimed them and told them that baby Sela was born, and my middle daughter, she was ecstatic, going crazy. My oldest son, he was sort of, okay, that's good. Look forward to seeing her. And my youngest son, he comes into the frame on FaceTime and says, hey, Dad, did you get that Lego you told me you were going to order? And the other 2 kids looked at him and said, Walker, we got a baby sister. He said, yeah, I heard. I still want to know about my Lego. And so, I mean, he's a little self-absorbed.
And if you know him.
Yeah, if you know him, that sounds about right.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. I guess we'll start right there, LSU. It feels like, I don't know that Auburn would have made that decision after Saturday night with a loss because it was better play. You did feel like Auburn, even offensively, had an identity somewhat. I know Rhett Lashley called the plays. They didn't get the football in the end zone by no stretch, but Legatron wins the football game for Auburn. But defensively, in comparison to what we saw last year, there were positives. There were positives there for Auburn. But the loss by LSU, were you surprised whatsoever that Les Miles loses his job?
I wasn't surprised that. Let me say this. When it happened, the first thing I thought was, yeah, that makes sense. And I wrote an article for the paper today basically saying, I think they did the right thing. I get it. I understand that. I said this on Sports Call. I had a back and forth with somebody we know on our Sports Blitz Facebook page. And he went on saying, I thought this was disrespectful. They said, the way you handle it, yada, yada, yada. Les Miles had some good seasons. And he did have some good seasons. But, you know, he had some bad marks on that resume. And he fired back at me, well, Saban's got some bad marks on his resume. And I said, yeah, but he doesn't have a one bad mark since 2008. I mean, if you want to count the comeback, okay, but that team won a national championship. What's the worst loss on Saban's record since '08? South Carolina. That team went to the SEC championship game. Now they got blown out, but they went. It's the best appearance, only appearance they've ever had. So my point being, Les Miles, has a 2-game losing streak to Arkansas? I mean, he's was blown out last year by Ole Miss. He's lost 5 in a row to Alabama. He's the only team to be shut out in the BCS National Championship, and he had maybe arguably the best regular season I've ever seen. For that team to get shut out, it's despicable, really. And then Saturday, here's what really bugged me about Les Miles, and I think you could, if you were an LSU fan, you could fire him on this game alone. First of all, I get what you're saying, and Auburn did have improvements, but LSU's a better team than Auburn. They were really poorly coached that night. And then the time management on that last drive was just abysmal. And the fact that Leonard Fournette only had 18 touches, 2 of them being receptions, only 16 carries, 100 and some odd yards, and 2 catches. He only had 18 touches when he's the best running back LSU has ever had is crazy. And then if you want to say, well, he was a little bit banged up and he hurt his ankle, that's true. So why do you have him in the last series trying to help out block Carl Lawson? That's why Carl Lawson, if you go back and look, he was beating his tackle, the tackle that was blocking him. So they tried to put a running back over there. Well, the running back's Leonard Fournette. Well, he's gimpy. So he couldn't get there in time either. Carl Lawson just went right by both of them and had that big sack, which ultimately cost him the game.
It was tough to watch. If you were an LSU fan, I kind of put my purple on and think back and listen to all the summer talk that went on, the Cam Cameron talk on how we're going to change things up, we're going to throw the football deep, we're going to loosen things up for Leonard Fournette. Just wait and see. It almost feels like the same talk we got as Auburn fans in the offseason. We're going back to tempo. We really feel like all of our quarterbacks can be successful. And we come out the first few weeks, and I don't know where tempo went. That's the biggest wasted conversation that even went on in the summer. We don't run tempo. We don't art browse it anymore. That's over. And it's unfortunate that the fan bases that kind of live and breathe and stay on message boards and Twitter and do all of this, Luke, we like to hear information. And it's fine after a while if all the information you're getting is just kind of out there and you know it's not true. But that's where we are as Auburn. And I think that's where they got as LSU as well.
Well, and it's also fine if the information you get is wrong, but you're still winning.
True.
Both of these teams now are 2-2. And it was so surreal at the end of that game. I mean, Auburn LSU is must-watch TV every single year. From Les Miles throwing the ball into the end zone, where if the clock is handled correctly, the game's over if it's not caught. When he could have kicked a field goal a few years ago, to the time in, I think it was 1999, when an Auburn fan went down there and had the tiger tail hanging out of the van, and an LSU fan lit it on fire, and the van just went up in flames, to the year the barn burned. And I remember that clear as day, that there was the ramp?
Yeah.
There was a guy at the top of the ramp, and he was watching the game, and there was a fire behind him that looked like the towering inferno. And I said, that's SEC football for you. I mean, anything can be going on behind us, and we're like, the game's out here. This game where both teams win, both teams lose, one coach gets fired, trees go up in flames, and I wondered at first, they kept saying this Jochen Wiest, he did it on accident, and I was like, well, maybe Les Miles did it or Gus Malzahn did because their seats were so hot. I don't know how the tree went up. First of all, he didn't do that on accident. We all saw the video. But we'll talk about that later. I just find it was surreal watching that, and it was a lot of fun. And as I said, it doesn't matter the records. Auburn LSU is must-watch TV every single year.
Let's take phone calls, 800-782-0108 or 256-234-6464. We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about LSU a little bit more. We'll talk about potential coaching hires that they'll be looking for. We'll talk about Ed Orgeron. I don't know if you can talk about LSU and not bring him up. We'll talk about Auburn and what we saw in Auburn this past Saturday. We'll talk about some potential injuries that we almost saw from Alabama, which had to have scared all Alabama fans there in the early part of that football game. So let's quickly take this first phone call, and then we'll go to break. Caller, you're on Sportz Blitz.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're good. Glad to have you on, James.
Hey, man. Listen. I hope Auburn fans is not being fooled like LSU was fooled with keeping, retaining last mile. Last year they should have let him win. This year they got caught up, and then now they had to fire him. And I hope Auburn people don't think just because Gus, too poorly coached football team, was going at it Saturday. And granted, we won. I give you that. But too poorly coached football team was going at it Saturday night. And Auburn just happened to come on top. And then Gus get in the interview room and say, I told y'all we was close. It was close for what? LSU is a simple offensive team. You're going to have to score some points to beat somebody else, man. But he's trying to, and the Auburn people, oh, yeah, Gus is back. Gus is not back. That was not no, I haven't changed. He hadn't changed my mind. Put it that way. Ain't nothing he can do can change my mind. I see the same 5 or 6 plays. The man still haven't evolved, man. You look at Ole Miss offense, and I just go to Ole Miss, I go to Clemson, I go to all these people run the same offense Gus runs. These people got different, they know how to set up people. They know how to utilize their talent. They got different schemes. They got different plays. We still got them 5 or 6 plays. Throw it to the outside out there, 5 yards, 3 yards. They need to throw that out the book. They put Carry-On in the shotgun to run the quarterback drop. Carry-On is not the quarterback, not a running back to do that. So you get out there around the goal line again. We don't know what we're doing, so we got to go. We went for it on 4th down and got nothing. So when you kick a field goal, so how in the world can you say, I told y'all we was close, we gonna turn the corner? You're not turning no corner, man. The only reason you'll turn a corner is if the SEC just turn out to be weak. But when you got to run up against a team that's going to score some points, how in the world are you going to score some points? So, look here, man. I love that we won the game, but it still ain't did nothing for me. And I'm expecting him to be gone in the next year or two. And I just hate that we probably going to keep him, and we're going to wind up like LSU. Get rid of him the next year. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Man, James, he doesn't hold back. But, I think he's got a point, though. There are a lot of the same plays. And I thought it was a little arrogant of Gus after the game. I thought it was a little arrogant right when the game got flip-flopped. Everybody was still in the field. He had that sort of fist pump like, yeah, I knew that the whole time. Nobody knew it. I think some Auburn fans thought they didn't get the playoff, but everybody was a little worried until you saw the replay, and then it was obvious. They didn't get the playoff.
I thought he stepped over the line of scrimmage. That was
well, but as long as he had Alabama fans have learned this playing some of these type offenses. Yeah. As long as you got a toe behind the line, it don't matter.
Yeah, that was in my mind as I'm watching the play develop. I'm like, man, he has to be 2 or 3, and I'd have to go back and see exactly where, but it really doesn't matter. But I didn't pay attention to the snap. I wasn't thinking that at all, Luke, but I was thinking about him stepping over the line.
I'll tell you this, too, though, and, again, I didn't hear the whistle. Some other people may have heard the whistle. I haven't rewatched the game a bunch, but it didn't seem to me it seemed rather ambiguous when the official was telling them to start the clock. I thought there'd be he would do his arm to wind the clock. I still don't think LSU would have gotten it off. I'm just saying it seemed like the clock operator said, okay, I should start it now, which when you're at home, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
So because the other way around, just like I said, when LSU threw the ball in the end zone years ago and it ended up being caught, I'd be willing to bet somehow, some way they'd get a second back.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. More Sportz Blitz live right after this.
Comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced heat and air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's trained dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our #1 concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
The Sure Shot, located on Highway 280 in Alexander City, is Lake Martin Sportsman's headquarters. In the market for a new rifle or shotgun? Come to the Sure Shot. Want a new bow or need to practice with the one you have? Come to the Sure Shot. Thinking about a firearm for self-defense? Come to the Sure Shot. Got a hunt planned and need some gear? Come to the Sure Shot. For all your archery, shooting, and hunting needs, let the Sure Shot be your first stop.
If your New Year's resolution is to stop walking and start riding, then resolve yourself to run to Lake Martin Truck and Auto on Old Dadeville Road. Lake Martin Truck and Auto is the bank, and you don't need to worry about past credit, getting your tax money, or finding the ride that suits you, because Lake Martin Truck and Auto has the lowest down payments and monthly payments in the area with the best selection. Don't let the Slick City dealer take all that tax money or hassle you with credit. Lake Martin Truck and Auto, Old Dadeville Road in Alex City.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control, celebrating our 10th anniversary. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Over the years, S&S Tires has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized easy-go cart dealer that has no limits on a perfect easy-go cart. Whether it's a fully customized cart or a stock-made cart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Luke, do you think LSU has their eye on somebody? They've already been talking to somebody behind closed doors. Is it Jimbo Fisher, or do you think it's somebody else?
I don't think you'd make this move without having some kind of plan in place. I would be willing to bet Tom Herman is their first option. But, you know, if you're Tom Herman, do you want to come to LSU? Okay, let's. I know I'm thinking a lot of what ifs in this scenario. But if Houston gets into the Big 12, which it looks like they probably will, okay? They should.
Yeah.
So if they get into the Big 12, and I think in his contract, the way I understand it, he automatically becomes the highest paid coach in that conference if he's still there. So if he gets that, and you're in Houston, and you're in the Big 12, which is not as hard to win, you know, really, and LSU's a better job than Houston. I'm just saying it's not that much better if those things happen. Now, if those things don't happen, if Houston's not in the Big 12, there's no doubt you leave all day long. And if they are in the Big 12, it's probably a 50-50. But I think Tom Herman is who they'll go after. I think, though, Tom Herman may wait and say, hey, let's just see what happens with Charlie Strong at Texas. I mean, he got that nice win over Notre Dame, but Notre Dame's turned out to be not so good, and he's lost at Cal. Texas has Oklahoma State this weekend. It's no guaranteed win. They got Oklahoma later on the schedule. They've got a bunch of teams that they got to play that are probably going to beat them. Charlie Strong may be out of there, and then he can get the Texas gig.
Let's get this phone call. Caller, you're on Sportz Blitz.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Good. Glad to have you on.
Okay, this question is to Luke. I'm an Alabama fan. I'm very excited about this Jalen Hurts, this quarterback. But I want to get Luke's assessment on Jalen Hurts. And also, do you think those what quarterbacks that Alabama have behind him will stay there as Jalen Hurts continue on this road? And I'm going to hang up and listen to Luke.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. First of all, on Jalen Hurts, I love him. I think that his best attribute right now is his demeanor, the way he carries himself. He is cool as a cucumber. He takes big shots and comes back from them. He's strong. He's fast. He's not the fastest quarterback you've ever seen. He's fast enough. He's not the strongest you've ever seen. He's strong enough. Like I said, he has taken some hits because I mentioned this on the Talking Tuscaloosa podcast that Jimmy Stein and I cut yesterday. I don't think the line has done a great job for him in pass protection, and I think he's had to run for his life a few times, but he's made pretty good decisions so far. He's thrown one interception. That was in the USC game. That was a bad throw, and since then he hasn't thrown another one. Granted, he's played 2 cupcakes in that stretch, but still, he's a true freshman quarterback. One thing I would like him to see him get better at, and that's the deep ball. If you notice, every time he throws a deep ball, it's as if the receiver has to become a contortionist. He can get the ball out there. It's a matter of accuracy, and I think nervousness. There is something about throwing the deep ball that hadn't clicked with him yet, and Jimmy and I both agree he seems to be half a tick off on his deep ball. Whatever it is, he's throwing it a little early, throwing it a little late. He's throwing it a little to the left, a little to the right. He's just a little off. And Calvin Ridley adjusted his body incredibly in that Ole Miss game to make a completion. And if you heard Gary Danielson talking on that during that game, he said, you know, Calvin Ridley is a 5-star. That's what 5-stars do. See, a 4-star wouldn't have caught that ball. And Alabama's got some wide receivers that are 4-stars, so they don't catch that ball. I want to see him improve there. Now, as far as the backups go, Blake Barnett is the backup right now, obviously, and I have no problem saying this. I thought he threw the prettiest ball Saturday. I thought he threw the prettiest deep balls in the USC game. The catch is when Blake Barnett came in even Saturday, he got sacked twice, I think, on 2 of his first 3 plays. He doesn't have the pocket awareness that Jalen Hurts has. He certainly doesn't have the escapability. So I think will Blake Barnett stay? I'm going to say that's 50-50. Honestly, I mean, if you're Blake Barnett and you really want to go play somewhere, I get it. You're from the West Coast. It looks like Jalen Hurts is here to stay, and you're bringing in Tua Tagovailoa from Hawaii next year. So maybe you do break for California. And if you're Cooper Bateman, yeah, I'd stick around. Why wouldn't you? I mean, what are you going to go somewhere and probably be a backup somewhere else? Cooper Bateman right now is the holder a lot of times, and he could be the senior backup. He could be the guy that if something happens to Jalen Hurts, at least he's been there a long time. People are going to love Cooper Bateman. I would be surprised if he left. And then, oh my God, who is the David Cornwell from Oklahoma? I just don't know. David Cornwell, it just didn't seem like it's ever really clicked at Alabama. It wouldn't surprise me one way or the other. But Alabama's bringing in another quarterback too from the Bowles School. And so they're bringing in 2 quarterbacks this year. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 others transferred.
Running back situation. Any injuries? Can you give an update on those? Any real injuries?
Well, Damian Harris got hurt. Now, I don't know if you saw the play, but it looked
did.
to me like he hurt his knee. Well, it turns out it was his ankle, but it scared me to death when it first happened because it looked bad, and just as he was getting the ball rolling too. But he has been pretty active on Twitter this week. Take that the way you want to, but Alabama's playing Kentucky. He's from Kentucky. And Kentucky fans really gave him a lot of grief when he signed with Alabama. He wants to play in this game very badly. I'm going to be non-committal if he's going to play because Saban may say, look, frankly, Kentucky is just barely better than Kent State. Okay, Alabama's a 35-point favorite. I personally don't want to see Damian Harris play if it means he could even think about getting hurt or re-injuring that ankle. So, and Josh Jacobs looked great. B.J. Emmons looks good. Bo Scarborough, you know, gosh, he looks fantastic in uniform, man. But everybody talks about this quickness that he had in the 8A game and in the spring and and in the fall practice, I just hadn't seen it.
800-782-0108-256-234-6464. Got a guest coming up quickly. Let's go back to the phone lines, get one more now. We lost that one back there, so we'll try to go back again.
Well, let's talk about this LSU thing just a little bit more, because it's very reminiscent of the Mark Richt situation to me. All right, so Georgia fires Mark Richt, and I get it. I mean, I think you understood that. I think Brett was certainly on the side of that. And they fire Mark Richt. Mark Richt goes on to Miami, and Georgia couldn't stand it. They were so scared South Carolina was going to steal Kirby Smart that they said, we got to get Kirby Smart right now. We got to fire Richt and make this happen. They make it happen. Kirby Smart is doing okay until this past weekend, and he gets beat as badly as Mark Richt ever got beat.
He'd been doing pretty rough before this past weekend.
Well, he was 3-0. Yeah. I mean, he was still 3-0.
Nickel State was one of the.
It was awful, but
like
it was
Auburn in 12 kicking that field goal against La Monroe. The writing was on the wall, my friend.
I feel you. Yeah. I'm just saying that he was 3-0. They were ranked 12th, and they got a true freshman quarterback who looked to be coming along. And they got Nick Chubb. You thought he was coming along again. They run into a buzzsaw in Ole Miss. We got a phone call. Let's go ahead and take it. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question about Tony Brown with Alabama.
Okay.
I know he's back, able to play now. I tried to find out all day long. What happened for his suspension with the NCAA? What did he do?
Gosh, I don't know that all that's out there. I know that he just got into some trouble, and you can just sort of take that as you will. Yes, I have my own personal theories. I don't know how much of that is all out there, so I hate to say too much about it, but I know that it was a 4-game suspension, and I think he actually missed 2 games last year, so it may have ended up being a 6-game thing. I don't remember. But it lasted the first 4 games of this year. And Johnny Dwight was also suspended for 4 games. And really nobody knew about that because Johnny Dwight wasn't playing all that much anyway and wasn't supposed to be a factor. But Saban brought it up last week that he'll be coming back too. So, look, it's good to have depth.
So they were suspended at the same time?
They could have been suspended at the same time. My guess is for probably the same thing.
Right, okay. Well, I had just, I knew he was coming back this week, and I had checked all day trying to find out, what the cause of it was for, and I just, was wondering that.
Well, he's a kid, and he's in college, and sometimes he likes to have fun. I think I'll just leave it at that and let you put it together.
I know that, as far as a lot of players, they're excited he's back. I know it's going to help out in the depth.
Yes, sir.
We need it. But, again, I just so that you guys knew what the reason was for that.
Well, listen, we appreciate the phone call, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take a break, Luke.
Okay.
Have a guest coming up here shortly, and we'll take your phone calls after that. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Bob bought a Camry. Neighbor Ted bought a Sonata Sport at Hyundai of Auburn and paid $2,000 less. He has no payment for 6 months, saving $3,000 cash flow. With his savings, he bought a boat. Every time Bob sees Ted's boat, it makes him sad. He paid too much. Ted is trying to make Bob happy again by inviting him fishing. Be a Ted at Hyundai of Auburn. What will you do with the money you save?
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Don't you know there's no queen like peaches and cream?
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Colors up at Peaches and Clean.
Get the best seat in the house for every game this football season. Upgrade that old recliner for the comfort of FlexSteel from Holly's Home Furnishings. Stunning styles, incredible comfort, and FlexSteel's signature blue steel construction. At Holly's Home Furnishings, we offer a variety of different fabric and leather options, plus state-of-the-art power recliners. Come in and score big today with Holly's Home Furnishings' unbeatable selection and unbelievable everyday prices. Family-owned and operated Holly's Home Furnishings located in Alexander City and Montgomery.
You know, these Zaxby's fried pickles really take me back to Meemaw's kitchen.
Yeah, Meemaw really would have loved these. Is that a time machine?
Yep, and I brought Meemaw back with me.
That's not Meemaw.
Ooh, okay, let's get you back inside.
Better than grandma's? Maybe. Indescribably good? Definitely. Fried pickles are back. Lightly breaded, fried to perfection, and served with ranch sauce. Try them before they're gone. Zaxby's.
When it's time to buy your teen's first vehicle, you think safety. Your teen thinks style. At Talladega Ford, we have style and safety. Ford has more 5-star safety-rated vehicles than any other car manufacturer. Ford goes that extra mile to make sure you are safe. Government safety standards are based on a 30...
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live, everybody. Listen, I've always heard you don't have to have a cape to be a hero. And sometimes a hero can wear a game day dress, and that was exactly what happened this past weekend with Ms. Heron Taylor, who will be joining us right now, as she is the one, the co-ed, who captured or identified the Tumors Tree fire starter. Heron, how you doing tonight? Are you with us? Heron, are you with us?
I am. I lost you for a minute.
That's totally okay. I thought you may be out stopping a cat burglar or something. Well, listen, you have had a whirlwind couple of days, have you not?
It's been pretty crazy, that's for sure.
How are you handling this newfound hero status?
Oh goodness, I don't think I'd call it hero status, but I'm just kind of trying to take it, one thing at a time, and these days have been kind of flying by. I've been kept so busy. So I'm just trying to keep my head up and, kind of realize all the good that's coming out of this and how much support I'm receiving. And I'm so appreciative of it. So it's been nice.
Of course, everybody probably knows the story by now. It's practically national news everywhere. But take us through the beginning of this and then how it ended for you. I've heard you on some other interviews talk about the rush of adrenaline you had. Just take us through the actual moments and what went down.
Well, my boyfriend and I were taking a picture in front of the tree, and the guy taking our photo was like, "Oh my gosh, that guy set the tree on fire." So we look around, and the tree, it's not full in flames yet. There's toilet paper, but it was like, whoa, what in the world? And the guy was right there, just kind of watching. And so we were able to, we kind of watched the tree for a minute, just thinking, like, what's happening? Like, what can we do for the tree? Like, how do we stop this? And then the guy started kind of walking back into the crowd, like, to go stand with his buddies and just be a bystander. And so my boyfriend was saying, like, that's the guy, that's the guy. So we were trying to go after him. And then as my boyfriend was, like, alerting everyone around us, like, that's the guy, like, trying to get people to realize, like, or to, like, grasp the fact that someone lit that on fire, that it's not an accident. Sure enough, like, he started trying to get away, and I was saying to him, I was like, hey, you lit the tree on fire, you lit the tree on fire. Like, I mean, obviously, but I was just trying to, like, see what he would say or get him to acknowledge it or something. I don't know. And he started trying to get away. So that's when I guess, had to go after him. I was not going to let him get away with that. So.
At any time during this, were you intimidated at all? Because this guy is 29 years old. You see his mugshot. He looks a little intimidating. Did it ever stop? Did you ever stop for a minute and think, hey, I'm really getting in the face of somebody who's a lot bigger and older than I am?
I wasn't very intimidated. I don't think. I think that the adrenaline was so high. Like, I just couldn't really process that. And I have 2 older brothers, and I'm the youngest person on both sides of my family. I've grown up around adults, so I'm not very intimidated by his age or the fact that he's a male. And like I said, I had so much adrenaline. I was so in the moment that I didn't stop to think that this could be dangerous. He could hurt me. He could have a gun. He could have a knife. Like, this could seriously end very badly for me. And so I'm glad, because I was not hurt, I'm glad that I just went through and with the situation and went after the guy.
And again, by his mugshot, it looks like whenever the group of young men that ended up subduing him, they did so with a little bit of flair. Is that how it went down? Are you still with us, Heron?
Yes, I lost you again for a second. I don't know.
That's okay. So when the young men that captured him and subdued him, did they do so with prejudice? I mean, did they rough him up just a little bit?
I think they roughed him up a little bit, but rightfully so. I mean, he was trying to get away from them. He was resisting them, and by that time, the tree was completely engulfed in flames, and so everyone knew, like, this is a really, really bad situation. So, I mean, the guys who had tackled him were just holding him down and fighting him back as he was fighting them. So,
do you think he was just drinking too much, or do you think somebody dared him to do this? Do you think he just saw a tree with some flammable toilet paper in it and thought, hey, why not? What could possibly drive this man to do something like this?
I mean, I just have no idea who would do something so horrible and just wrong. But I mean, it's crossed my mind that, like, maybe one of his friends dared him or said, oh, I wonder what would happen if they did that. Or, I mean, obviously there was some alcohol involved. He was arrested for public intoxication originally, and so I think that a combination maybe of alcohol and just stupidity and curiosity or something. I just have no idea what could drive anybody to do something like that. It blows my mind.
Okay, in all the chaos, you lost your sunglasses. The sunglasses you wear every day, your trademark fashion statement. But
yes.
All's well that ends well, because you got the glasses back, right?
Yes, I did. I posted on my Instagram saying, oh, I lost my sunglasses, but I caught the arsonist, like, haha. And, you know, kind of trying to say, like, hey, like, trying to split the word, like, oh, I lost my sunglasses, and I was hoping somebody would find them, like someone would tell somebody who knew someone, whatever. And sure enough, someone found them, like, amongst the toilet paper. They were just kind of walking around looking at the trees the next day, saying, like, being like, I cannot believe this happened. And they looked down, and they were just sitting there in the toilet paper. So they returned them to Tumors Drugs and got in contact with me through Facebook, and so I got them back. I mean, it's crazy. I can't believe. And I got them back so quickly. I had them back the next day, and that just blows my mind that someone found them at all, like, and that they weren't just completely destroyed.
That is pretty amazing. Have you ever been to an Auburn LSU game before, though? That's something we've been talking about on this show. Auburn LSU games always have the weirdest stuff happen, and this particular game probably had 5 years worth of weird things happen. But I know, look, it's had to have been a little bit of fun. I know that it was scary there for a moment. You were probably angry for a little while, but it had to have been fun these last few days. A lot of people coming up and acknowledging your good deed, and we certainly appreciate it. And the world needs more Heron Taylors, I can tell you that right now. So we really appreciate you, and thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Wow, well, thank y'all so much for having me. And to answer your question, I have been to an Auburn LSU game many times before. We've been fans for a long time in my family.
Where are you from, Heron? I didn't even get to that. I wanted to get there.
Oh, I'm from Birmingham.
Oh, you are from Birmingham. So, okay, so you've been an Auburn fan your whole life, and you've been to...
My uncle even plays for Auburn. A lot of my dad's family went to Auburn. My grandfather has a classroom, lecture hall named after him.
Wow.
I mean, Auburn's a big part to my family, big part of my family.
So this wasn't just a matter of you becoming a student and then just trying to do a good deed. This really was, I mean, this had some deep sentiment involved in it, did it not?
For sure. I mean, this is something that I have done when I was a child. Like, I mean, it's something that means a lot to me and that has been special to me for a very long time.
Well, Heron, thanks so much for being with us. We really do appreciate it. You're a great person, and we wish you the best of luck, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
That was Heron Taylor, who really just an incredible story, frankly. I don't really know what else to say, and just what a great young woman, and she's going to go on to do great things. So we're going to go ahead and take a break at Sportz Blitz Live. We'll be back in just a minute. Randy Lee will be out here to join me, and we'll see you in just 1 second.
If you've been putting off that new heating and air unit in your home because of the upfront expenses, Williams Plumbing of Alexander City now has primary financing from Synchrony and can now install brand new heating and cooling systems with zero down, longer terms, and a competitive rate. Call Williams Plumbing at 256-329-8488 and get a free quote and terms and upgrade up to $35,000 in work with approved credit. Williams Plumbing stands behind their work with on-time affordable service for all your heating and air needs, as well as plumbing for zero down financing and great service. Williams Plumbing.
Auburn Opelika has that perfect something for you. From sophisticated chic boutiques to exceptional dining, there's a retailer or restaurant to make your next visit special. Whether it's elegant fine dining or freshly squeezed lemonade, you'll find the perfect fit for every taste and budget. The food's great and the shopping is too, so be sure to check out the wide array of gifts, decor, clothing, and more. For every occasion, Auburn Opelika has what you're looking for. Let's make your next trip memorable. Visit Auburn Opelika.
At U.S. Ameribank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. Ameribank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. Ameribank difference. U.S. Ameribank. Banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years and has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question, at 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply is locally owned and operated with over 30 years experience providing a wide array of lumber, building materials, hardware, electrical and plumbing supplies, paint, tools, and garden products. Our employees' superior product knowledge and top-notch customer service allows us to help select the best products that will work for you. We provide free product estimates and takeoffs, free local delivery, and ask about our price match promise. Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply. Experience and knowledge from the pros.
Listen up. Save over $10,000 on Ram 1500 crew cabs during Ram Power Days.
Lake Martin's Ram Truck Headquarters.
Buy it at Bice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com. You better hurry.
It's the Jeep Celebration event with the biggest savings of the year on every new Jeep in stock.
Drive in for the savings. Drive out with the win.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Luke, I was saying as I walked back out here during that segment that it's crazy that something like this happens. Our recent interviewee, and she ends up on air, and she sounds like she's been on air all the time. And so it happened to the right person because she's able to come out and she's able to tell her story. And you brought up during that interview the craziness that is LSU and Auburn, and it really is. It's like every year there's something else to talk about.
It's just bizarre. You go back to even, I think it was 2004 when Auburn won 10-9, and they scored on the last second touchdown, but the extra point was blocked, I believe, because, and then the officials called something I've never seen called since, where that somebody propelled himself over the line, and so they got another kick and they made it, and Auburn wins 10-9. I mean, just every one of these games is funky. I remember I went to the Auburn LSU game in 1999 when it was in Baton Rouge, Tommy Tuberville's first one. And even though Auburn had a losing record that year, I still remember the flip. That was the first time they did the flip. Auburn's run that fake since then, obviously, but that time it was a beautiful thing to watch. Even as an Alabama fan, I said that was a good play.
Mark Richt, Les Miles, they have a lot of similarities. You brought that up a couple of segments ago, Luke, but we'll talk about that here. We'll bring up our Players of the Week starting in the next segment. We've got another great guest coming up at 8:30 tonight. We'll close out the program with Brian Matthews, who caught up with our very own Andy Graham on Sports Call this afternoon. So we'll let them talk a lot of Auburn football as we get into that, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the second hour as well. But a lot of similarities.
Well, I think I was trying to go to this place when I was talking about Richt and Les Miles. That, okay, I get it, Kirby Smart's the hot name, and Mark Richt, you had gotten stale, and you felt like you hit a glass ceiling. So they fire Richt, and they get Kirby Smart trying to swing for the fences. But, there's going to be some growing pains, and you end up having a loss worse than any loss Mark Richt had ever had. And you wonder if you start getting buyer's remorse. But it's going to be the same thing with LSU. I mean, LSU's new guy is going to come in, and he's probably going to take a few lumps because everybody takes their lumps in the SEC eventually. You have, Gus Malzahn was I know he had that first big year, but he's paid his lumps on the back end, and most people pay him on the front end. And I think that's how it'll be with this, whoever they get. If it's Tom Herman, if it's Jimbo Fisher. Look, Jimbo Fisher let Louisville put up 62 points on him recently. I mean, it's not like Les Miles was bad. Les Miles arguably was the second best coach in LSU history. But you hit a ceiling, and you knew what it was. You're going to win 8 to 10 games, which is great, but you can't. This is what I've been trying to tell folks. You can't look at it that way necessarily, okay? His 8 to 10 wins, when you're LSU, you start off with 6. You just on talent alone if you don't have any coach. You put them out on the field and say, we're going to play Jacksonville State. I'm not telling y'all what to do. Y'all draw them up in the dirt and you'll beat them. That's how it goes. So the problem is he wasn't beating the right teams, I don't think. I mean, and you go back to his losses were bad losses. The 21-0 BCS loss to Alabama stung. That stung the LSU fan base badly, okay? The losses, this past loss, that's a bad loss for LSU. The Wisconsin loss they could begin to stomach because just earlier in the day they had gone on the road and beaten Michigan State. This loss was a bad loss for LSU. Some of the losses to Arkansas recently, the losses to Ole Miss recently. I mean, there are things like that just got under the skin of LSU fans, and I get it. They weren't really in the hunt anymore. And I say that knowing they were number 2 in the country, I guess, last year when they came to Tuscaloosa, and Alabama beat them. But then the wheels came off. I mean, they could probably live with it if they said, okay, lose to Alabama on the road, we get it, and Alabama wins the national championship, no shame in that game. But then don't lose to Ole Miss badly and lose to Arkansas at home. Don't do that. And he did.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Moving over to Auburn real quick. Best case scenario for Auburn as they close out the season, in your opinion? They do pick up a good victory, move to 2-2, winnable game this weekend. Very tough end of the season, maybe not quite as tough as once was thought, as badly as Georgia's playing right now, and Georgia's had Auburn's number for way too long. But best case scenario that you see, do you see some type of scenario that has Gus Malzahn winning 8 football games and staying in, or do you think it's still going to be more of a 500 and let's see what they make a decision on?
I still think they can win 8 games. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Alabama on the road, and I don't think they'll beat Ole Miss on the road. Okay? I'd say Mississippi State's, Auburn's a slight favorite. I've talked to some people today, and they thought Mississippi State would beat Auburn. I don't feel that way. I've watched Mississippi State play. They don't look like world beaters. I think Auburn can beat them. Arkansas, I'd say that's 50-50. I think a lot of Auburn fans count that as a W right now. Arkansas is going to come to play. They know what they are.
I think most Auburn fans call that 50-50.
Okay.
I really do.
Then who's left? Georgia. At Georgia. Okay, I think Georgia will be a favorite. If Georgia doesn't start catching the ball, it's not going to matter. Auburn to win. But if Eason grows up a lot more between now and then, it could be a real problem for Auburn. So, I think Georgia's a slight favorite there. If I give Auburn those 3 games, which are pretty much toss-ups, and then say you lose at Ole Miss, I don't think Auburn can beat Ole Miss. I just don't. I think Ole Miss will put up points. I know Auburn's defense is better.
Especially there.
Oh, yeah. And you saw what Ole Miss may win out.
Yeah.
They're good. And then I don't think Auburn can beat Alabama. I know this the Iron Bowl, crazy things.
Well,
but
it's there. And
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So 8-4, I think it's one of those records, though. Here's the thing. Your losses will be if it's 8-4, your losses will be to Ole Miss, Alabama, Clemson, and Texas A&M. 4 teams who could potentially all be in the top 12, top 10 at that time. So there's really no shame in that. I feel like Gus would be pretty firmly entrenched. But the problem would be, do you have to give him an extension? Because that's what you do to coaches now. If you don't fire him, you give him an extension, right? If you don't give him an extension, you're basically saying you're on the hot seat.
I don't know. I think the backlash, and it is recruiting based, and I know we're up against a break, but the backlash from the Auburn fan base when we started 1-2 and so very close to a 1-3 start here to the football season. Now, many Auburn fans could call in and say, well, we're just as close to 3-1 as we are to 1-3. Okay, I can hear all that. But nonetheless, Auburn fan base that I talked to and I heard from on multiple programs last week was like, what in the world's athletic director making a decision to give any type of increase in years as well as pay? I don't know. I still think that it's up in the air. An 8-4 mark doesn't tell you that he's going to be around a lot longer. I think that he's got a lot more to prove to do that to most Auburn fans. But 8-4 would be a great season after a 1-2 start for Auburn. It'd be really good, really strong, especially I know the numbers may not be panning it out, but the eyeball test with what Auburn's doing defensively just looks so much better than what we've seen in years past.
It does, and again, if those are your 4 losses, if those are your only 4 losses, I mean, there's really no shame in that. Again, I think all of those teams will be top 12 at the very least. So I don't think that's going to be but now, the flip side of that is if you've got those 4 losses, you probably finish 4th at best in the SEC West.
True, yeah.
And again, you spin it the way you want to.
Yeah.
I think Gus would say, hey, we got 4 losses to top 12 teams. Everybody else say, yeah, but 2 of those losses were at home, and we finished 4th in the SEC West. So it depends on how you want to look at it.
Love to hear from you out there, Auburn fan base, Alabama. We've had a lot of Alabama calls already. We'll continue to take them in the second hour of the program. 800-782-0108 or 256-234-6464. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
The Nissan Now sales event is happening now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Lynch Nissan has it all. Huge selection, the highest trade allowances, and a hassle-free buying experience. Right now, you can take your pick from the all-new Nissan Altima S or the new Nissan Rogue Select, each starting at just $18,990. That's right, $18,990. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. The Nissan Now sales event going on now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Shop online at lynchnissan.com.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Lyman Ward Military Academy in Camp Hill, Alabama, known worldwide for programs and outstanding facilities designed to prepare young men for future success. Young men who are academically prepared for a rapidly evolving economy, morally prepared through character development and spiritual guidance, physically challenged by preparing for athletic competition, and prepared to be leaders in their careers through the structure of military discipline. Lyman Ward Military Academy, over a century of preparing youth for the work of life.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Here at my office, we want to be different than the big city billboard lawyers. We want to give your case the personal attention that it deserves. We handle auto accidents, tractor-trailer accidents, and other cases where our clients have been injured and need personal legal attention. To me and my staff, you will not just be another number on the case file, and we will return your phone calls. So if you've been injured, give me a call today or visit us on our website.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Satterfield on Highway 280 in Alex City. Satterfield is the Lake Martin area's Big Green Egg and Accessories headquarters.
Satterfield's out on Highway 280, a longtime sponsor of our Sports Blitz programming. Luke, good segment as we'll kick over to you. Highway 280, Alexander City.
Go by and see them. Big Green Egg. You know you want one. You need it for your tailgate or you need it for your deck when you're watching the game, whatever. It's the best way to cook anything.
256-234-6464, 800-782-0108 will be our phone number in the second hour of the program. But during this segment, we're going to name our players of the week that we do each and every week in the high school ranks. Again, check us out, ahsaradionetwork.com. That's something we're both very passionate about. We're continuing to grow our product listing there. You can find inside the AHSA weekly throughout all of our radio affiliates here in the state. And again, we want to thank Lake Broadcasting, Kowaliga Country 97.5 right here in Alexander City for hubbing all of our programming. And we can't thank John Kennedy and JJ enough for all that they do. Trust me, we get out there, we work with a lot of different people. We've been very lucky to be able to do that, and none are more supportive or open-minded to our ideas than we have here, and so we're very lucky to work with them. The Sports Blitz AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, brought to you by Russell Building Supply and Russell Do-It Center stores, is Seth Wadsworth from Southeastern School. Completed 8 of 12 passes for 193 and 3 touchdowns. Also ran 12 times for 69 yards and another score. On defense, he posted 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and an interception. He returned 86 yards for his 5th score. So congratulations to Seth Wadsworth.
The LMG Lee Marketing Group Montgomery Area Player of the Week is Reese Solar from Alabama Christian Academy. He finished with 133 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns, plus had 216 yards passing with 2 TD passes. His 3-yard TD run with 36 seconds left lifted the Eagles to a 34-33 victory over Prattville Christian. You know what they say about Reese Solar? He does everything with flair.
Wow. AISA Player of the Week brought to you by Lyman Ward Military Academy in Camp Hill, Alabama. Founded in 1898. We're proud to work with Lyman Ward Military Academy at Lee Marketing Group. LMWA.org is their website. KJ Hall for South Montgomery County Academy. He had 232 all-purpose yards and ran for 3 touchdowns. 48-30 win at Sumter Academy. So congratulations to KJ Hall from South Montgomery County Academy.
The Alabama National Guard Lake Martin Area Player of the Week is Marcavius Matthews from Tallahassee High School. He piled up a career-high 228 yards rushing on 19 carries and a 34-27 loss to T.R. Miller.
Alabama National Guard is also our Lee County Player of the Week sponsor. This one is to Auburn High School's Garrett Morris. Had 166 yards on 18 carries, 124 yards in the first half, with 4 rushing touchdowns, and Auburn High's 42-14 win over Mary of Montgomery. He also had a 70-yard touchdown reception. So congratulations to Garrett Morris.
The Alabama National Guard East Alabama Player of the Week is Zion Webb from Central Phoenix City. He was 11 of 20 passing for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 14 carries for 55 yards and 2 rushing TDs. And finally, the Central State Bank Shelby County Player of the Week was Matthew Marquette from Chelsea High School. He tallied 165 yards rushing and 2 scores while throwing for 101 yards and 2 more TDs in a 38-21 win over Gardendale.
Very good win for Chelsea High School this past week. Gardendale's had a couple of tough weeks, playing Minor a couple of weeks ago and then Chelsea this week. So a lot of strong teams up in that Birmingham area, and we're glad to be covering them. Again, find us on our social media outlets. Luke Robinson does a tremendous job. We all try to pitch in and do what we can on those, but find us Sportz Blitz, that's sports with a Z. Pass along any information, kids that we need to recognize. It's not only boys that we recognize weekly. If you got girls out there that are doing tremendous things, we want to hear about them as well. So make sure to either call us or find us on our social media outlets and pass it along. We'll go ahead and take another break here on Sportz Blitz. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls, 800-782-0108. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
At U.S. AmeriBank, there's something very different at the heart of what we do and who we are. It's a spirit that also defines our neighbors, local businesses, and communities. Building on our 116-year history in Alabama, U.S. AmeriBank provides something found nowhere else: craft banking. It's an unwavering commitment to handcrafted banking solutions that turns customers into enthusiastic fans. Visit usameribank.com or your local branch to discover the U.S. AmeriBank difference. U.S. AmeriBank, banking on values. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. Whether you call in, click in, or walk in, I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Jackson Refrigeration is Central East Alabama's Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer. With rapid response time and on-budget pricing, we're Central East Alabama's and the area's authorized Goodman Heating and Air dealer. We make your peace of mind easy and give you peace of mind when it comes to your heating and air needs. As a Superior Solutions dealer, Jackson Refrigeration can help save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Jackson Refrigeration works on all existing brands and units and has the team to solve your heating and cooling needs, no matter the season.
And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh.
You can count on the caring team at Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our services include physical, speech, and occupational therapy. Brown Nursing and Rehabilitation, 256-329-9061.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson riding solo for just a minute now because we're going to have another great guest on, and another very quickly famous guest from this past Auburn LSU game. Just an amazing scene. So many wild and weird things happened this past weekend. Probably nothing weirder and wilder than our next guest, Ashley Ward, taking a Legatron football right to the face, Marcia Brady style. Ashley, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
How many Marcia Brady jokes have you heard in the last 3 days?
It's been quite a few. I've definitely seen it pop up on my Twitter feed a few times, and I've had some interviews with people asking me about it, so it's definitely happened a few times.
All right, I think everybody wants to know, did it hurt as bad as it looked?
No, it didn't hurt at all. Honestly, I think I was just so embarrassed that was kind of like overtaking the pain that was probably going to ensue. So honestly, I don't remember feeling anything.
You know, I remember, I was telling my co-host, I remember when it happened vividly, and I said, oh wow, that's gonna go viral. I had no idea how viral it would go, and almost 5 minutes later, your name is popping up all over my Twitter feed, and I said, well, I'm just gonna go check out and see how many Twitter followers she has right now, because I bet that grows. When I went to look, you had about 300 or so Twitter followers. I looked before the show started, you have 6,500.
Yeah, no, it's definitely grown. I think before it happened, I had somewhere in the 200s. And then by the end of Saturday night, I think I was probably around 3,000, and it's just grown since then to around...
You're from Chicago. You were at the Auburn game. You get hit in the face, but you're in Charlotte now because you're an intern for ESPN, correct?
Well, actually, I had my internship with ESPN this past spring in Bristol, Connecticut. And then after that, I only had electives to finish. So I'm kind of in Charlotte finishing classes and doing some online stuff right now.
Well, and you have a pretty famous boyfriend as well in Chris Frost, the former linebacker for Auburn. What's he doing now?
Yeah, he's with me in Charlotte right now. He's just waiting for a team to call him, looking to still go pro. So he's working out and just waiting for a team to call him.
So has this been something that you feel like, hey, it was worth getting hit in the face for all this recently?
You know, some people have asked me that. I don't know. I don't know if I would go back and change it. I don't know if it would have been better to actually catch the ball or if it was better for me to get hit in the face. But no, some great things have definitely come from it. So I think I'm happy with my decision right now.
Have you met Heron Taylor, the girl who confronted Jochen Weiss, the guy who lit the tumorous trees on fire? Because it really is unbelievable that you two guys have these two very different stories happen within, I don't know, an hour and a half of each other?
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to her and I haven't met her, but I've heard her story, and what she did was amazing. Like, being able to catch him, and I know there were a few other people involved, but no, what she did was absolutely amazing for Auburn, and I'm glad they were able to catch the guy.
Yeah, we actually had her on the show a little bit earlier too, and the two of y'all really have become just legends in the last few days. I'm sure you're probably ready for a little sleep and probably tired of doing some of these interviews, but it really is just a good story in the not so much that you got hit, but in the way that you've handled it. And I think that you really is inspirational for everybody to see something like this and realize that, hey, look, it's just a football to the face. It's not a big deal, and you can make it as fun as you want it to be.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely, that's what most people have been saying, just the way I reacted to it and stuff. And, like, that's obviously, I appreciate people's nice comments. And like I said, there's not really anything you can do about it once it happens. So in any situation, whether it's getting hit in the face by a football, I think it's important to react positively and just kind of have fun with it.
Well, best of luck to you in all your endeavors. I hope you end up on ESPN and we see you on game day someday soon, because really you've got a fantastic smile, an incredible personality, and you're a great sport, and we appreciate your being on tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That was Ashley Ward, who, yeah, she took a football to the face. But, hey, it's you know, really raised her brand, I guess. That's one positive you can take out of this. I don't think it's going to work for everybody who gets hit in the face like that, but not everybody's going to get hit in the face by Legatron during the Auburn-LSU game. What a great sport she is, though. A lot of fun. Ashley Ward. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Randy will be back out here with me, and we'll discuss these topics and more.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process, from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Boaters in the Lake Martin area know whether you need service, maintenance, repairs, a great selection of pre-owned boats, or a brand new Landau pontoon. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280 is there for you. Thanks to a record-setting sales year, Alex City Marine now has one of the finest pre-owned inventories they've ever had. Repairs, service, routine maintenance, for all your boating needs. See the pros the locals know. Alex City Marine at the corner of 63 and 280. Check them out online at alexcitymarine.com.
CTE Small Engines, next to Tigertown and Opelika, is East Alabama's full lawn and land equipment supercenter. CTE Small Engines offers full mower lines from Husqvarna to Toro, whether it's the Toro Zero Turn MX 5000 or the great line of tough Husqvarna push mowers. CTE has the region's best prices and selection. CTE offers a full line of Echo to make taming your lawn a breeze. And best of all, CTE has a full service department for warranty work. CTE Small Engine in Opelika, your lawn's ultimate sales and service center.
Meet the new Met of East Central Alabama, David Chabot. By new Met, we mean MetLife Auto and Home. With MetLife's 146-year reputation and David's 18 years of local insurance experience, you and your family get the best coverage, rates, and service for auto, home, life, or business. Ask about MetLife's Grand Protect policy. If your home were destroyed by a covered loss, MetLife pays the full replacement cost. No depreciation and no cap. That's the peace of mind that only MetLife can deliver. Meet the new Met, David Chabot of MetLife Auto and Home, 334-321-7250 or davidchabot.metlife.com.
Listen up.
Save over $10,000 on Ram 1500 crew cabs during Ram Power Days.
Lake Martin's Ram Truck Headquarters.
Buy it at Bice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com. You better hurry.
It's the Jeep Celebration event with the biggest savings of the year on every new Jeep in stock.
Drive in for the savings. Drive out with the win.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Harbor Point Ship Store has everything to make your day on the lake more enjoyable. Come on out to the biggest marina on the water, stocked with name brands like O'Brien wakeboards, Airhead tubes, and Costa Del Mar sunglasses. Stop by for lunch. They have pizza, hot dogs, burgers, and more. Get your gas, groceries, snacks, ice, and everything you need for a fun day on the lake. Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned boat? Harbor Point has the best selection around of everyone's favorite Crest pontoons and Four Winds boats. Harbor Point also has a great selection of pre-owned boats. Come on out and take a look at Harbor Point, Marina Point Road in Dadeville. Get to the point.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Luke, the national scene starting to sort its way out a little bit, I think, as you watch the season move on. Once you get to this point in time in the year, you can kind of point to teams that, well, they were a little bit too highly thought of in the summer. But yes, there's some other teams that maybe were thought of fairly well, but we didn't think they were going to be Louisville. But 3 top 10 matchups this weekend, all of them outside of the SEC, should be a good weekend of college football.
I think so. I mean, obviously Friday night is going to get kicked off with Stanford and Washington. And I think what's good about the Pac-12 doing this game on a Friday night, I know a lot of people don't like it because it's high school football, but it's a standalone game. And so people will probably watch it, and it'll be on about the time, second half will get kicked off about the time people are coming back from some of these high school games. So to give people a chance to see these two teams in action, that's always the biggest gripe of the Pac-12, is that people don't see us, so we don't get the votes we need, we don't get the Heisman votes we need. I don't know, I don't buy some of that, but I think that this will let them have their stage to themselves. And Washington's a really strong team. Stanford escaped this past weekend. Washington did too against Arizona. But Stanford escaped against UCLA, and so they're going to have their hands full. And then Saturday, Wisconsin at Michigan. And I think on the surface, nobody's going to give Wisconsin a chance. But you forget Colorado went into the Big House a couple weeks ago and gave Michigan all they wanted. And Wisconsin just came off the road at Michigan State and beat the Spartans. I'm not saying they're going to do it again, but I think they could do it again. And then finally, Louisville-Clemson. At Clemson, I don't think it's going to matter. I may have picked Clemson in the paper in our little pick'em thing we do, but there is something in me that says this Louisville team may be special and they could run the table.
3 90s teams that were 3 of the top teams during that era, Washington, Colorado, and Tennessee. All 3 of those teams kind of making their way back into the national fray this year, Luke.
Yeah, they are. Colorado got a big win at Oregon. You're beginning to see, okay, this Mark Helfrich thing may not work out at Oregon, by the way. It's okay, second, even though he was in the national championship a couple years ago. And then Tennessee, I'm going to tell you something. I was just thinking about Tennessee and they're being undefeated. Don't you feel like Tennessee has a loss, though? I know they don't, okay? I'm just saying, based on the way they've played up until it feels like they already have a loss or two. But
the second half play was what we expected Tennessee to be. Finally let Josh Dobbs loose and let him make plays, and it proved to be the difference because they were booed going into half.
And they should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, no chance they should have been down 21-3. And really, I thought Florida would try and do some more of the same that they had been doing, which was try and hit the deep ball because that was working. The Cam Sutton is out for Tennessee, and I think that affected them. But you let a home team get that momentum, and then it's hard to get it back as the visitor. So Tennessee going to Georgia this weekend, I think this is going to be one of those games that you need to keep an eye on because if Georgia loses, they're out, right? I mean, they have 2 SEC losses, and Tennessee will need to lose twice. So it's just not going to happen. And so they're not going to be able to make it to the SEC championship, and that's what they were really getting on to Mark Richt for. So I feel like this is a really important game for Georgia. I believe Tennessee could slip up and lose this game just because they're coming off such a high, and I don't think all their problems are fixed. I think they just got on a roll there in the second half. Everybody just assumes, well, Tennessee's got it together now. I just don't believe that yet. I still think they just got on a roll at home, and they took out 12 years of frustration in that second half. But that's going to be a fun game to watch, that Georgia-Tennessee game.
Washington coach Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what he was at Boise, which was exceptional. And he moves on now to Washington, and he has that program where he has them. Is he a name that is going to be thrown around in the SEC, or do you think he's more of that direction? He's a West Coast guy, and he's going to stay out that way, or do you think it's
so?
Okay.
I think he will. I've heard his name a couple of times, but he didn't want to leave Boise for a long time. It took a lot for him to leave Boise, and he ended up going to Washington, which is a little bit further west. I mean, I think he'd rather go further west. If there was some school even further west, I think he'd go. that just seems to be his gig, and I think some of those West Coast folks, they like it out there. That's just, David Shaw, the coach at Stanford, he was asked about SEC jobs and would he be interested in LSU, and he said, "Are you serious? No." I mean, David Shaw is perfect for Stanford. He's a West Coast guy. He knows exactly where he is. He loves the environment. He's not in the recruiting game that Alabama and Auburn and LSU are in, where we get in there and, you got to get nasty sometimes. He doesn't have to get nasty. He's like, "I'm Stanford. You can come to me, or you don't have to come to Stanford." Yeah. I mean, I'm at Palo Alto.
I'm going after the best kids in the country.
Best athlete, kids who happen to be athletes.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alabama and Auburn and LSU and Georgia and Tennessee, they have to make sacrifices sometimes. You take a chance on a kid who can run a 4.2, who might have, the background might be a little sketchy, or he might not have the best academic record you've ever seen, but you take a chance because you got to win. And at Stanford, they can, you can get a McCaffrey who, or you can get the Jack West, the kid at Saraland who's committed to Stanford. Just a great kid, super smart. And he says, I'm going to Stanford. I love Alabama, but I'm going to Stanford. I get it.
Up against a break here, Luke. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more. We'll close out the program with Brian Matthews as he caught up with our very own Andy Graham this afternoon on Sports Call. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
How expensive can kids really be? All they need is love, and love is free, right? They're tiny. How much stuff can they really use? I'm still gonna get a new car every year and take the best vacations. Maui, here we come.
Life can surprise you. So can an Allstate agent. Only they can get you 2 safe driving bonus checks a year because every little bit helps. The good hands are doing more than ever before.
Call your Alexander City Allstate agent, Alice Palmer, to learn more today at 256-215-3833.
Do you know that C&T Electric offers a home protection plan for your electrical system? Are you wondering what this is or why you need one? Just like your heating, cooling, and plumbing systems, your electrical system needs to be maintained also. With C&T Electric's home protection plan, you receive annual electrical safety inspections, priority service when you call, discounts on all electrical services, and the dispatch fee is waived on all calls. Call C&T Electric at 256-234-0007 today.
The Nissan Now sales event is happening now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Lynch Nissan has it all. Huge selection, the highest trade allowances, and a hassle-free buying experience. Right now, you can take your pick from the all-new Nissan Altima S or the new Nissan Rogue Select, each starting at just $18,990. That's right, $18,990. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. The Nissan Now sales event going on now at Lynch Nissan of Auburn. Shop online at lynchnissan.com.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Oh, let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Did your team just win the big game? Are you looking for a unique way to honor a valuable employee? Lila's Engraving has you covered, offering a large selection of custom trophies and plaques. Lila's also offers cast aluminum car tags, custom engraved wine glasses, clocks, and wood cutting boards. They even offer custom framing for any art or picture as well. Lila's combines the best quality items with the fastest service around. With over 27 years of experience in the Alexander City and Lake Martin areas, Lila's Engraving is your only choice for custom awards and engraved gifts. Always remember, winners choose Lila's.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
Notre Dame, Luke, didn't see this one coming, but it seems to me that it may be getting worse. Have you watched much of them? Do you see where it is? Okay.
I watched that Duke game, and they're just bad. And guess who their defensive coordinator was?
Oh, your boy.
Brian Van Stash.
Oh, Slick Van Gorder.
Well, you know, the reason I get a kick out of it a little bit is because I remember when he first came to Auburn, and oh boy, y'all were fired up. Y'all were fired up. Y'all
Where
liked
was he
him.
from?
Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all wanted him. And
we have tried to spin many into being superstars during this
Ted
Saban
Roofs?
stretch. Oh, we didn't even spin that. Whatever that decision was, it was made at Auburn. I have no earthly idea how that boy won a national championship as a coordinator. You want to talk about not having an identity.
Yeah.
That defense never had one. You didn't know who was going to be out there from week to week. We've had some good ones. We really have.
Well, you know, again, I laugh now, but it wasn't too long ago when Alabama was called that insurance salesman from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Dave Rader, and said, "Hey, look, I know that normally you're on the phone selling life insurance, but would you mind coming down and coaching our offense?" That just makes no sense. I mean, that's what we did.
Isn't it amazing what one coaching decision or one coaching beg or whatever had to happen to get can change a long-standing. I mean, Alabama had a good stretch with Gene Stallings. Really did. If you look back on that era, it was an outstanding.
I was in school then.
Yeah,
it was great.
But other than that, and really in my lifetime, this has been such a ho-hum program.
You know, in '99 we obviously won the title, but that was Chris Samuels and Sean Alexander.
It was,
and that was the team. Those two people. I mean, we can joke about Auburn having a one-man team or a two-man team with Nick Fairley and Cam Newton, but Alabama was a two-man team that year. That's just what it was. That's the way it is. But they won a title, and you know that was sort of our thing. Is Alabama's so good, we can win a title with Mike Dubose. But then we said, okay, well, let's see if we can do it. You know, we couldn't even get Mike Price. He couldn't even make it past A-Day until he got that members-only jacket zipped up just the way he wanted to and skirted down to Pensacola. But God, I remember being in my house and somebody called me and said, "Have you heard anything about Mike Price and a credit card missing at a strip club?" And I said, I know those words, but that sentence doesn't make any sense. I said, Mike Price he ain't in Pensacola, and lo and behold, can you imagine?
I was living in Birmingham at the time, and this is pre-Paul Feinbaum now. This is 960, Paul Feinbaum.
Oh, yeah.
And it was better then because it was no holds barred.
Yeah.
Look, I can get slapped on the wrist, which we've had happen here in the last little while on some of the things I've said. I'm sorry. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Come on here and just tell you how great and glorious everything is? It's not. A lot of times. I apologize. I'm not built for that.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna try, but I'm not sure. I know Brett Pritchard can't. I'll go ahead and apologize for him up front. But Paul Feinbaum was ruthless.
Oh, he was brutal.
Then. And man, when that went down with the Memphis deal, it was great radio.
Oh, it's must listen.
Must listen. Even if you were a Bammer. And look, any Auburn fan that sits out there and says Paul Feinbaum has always been a Bama guy, man, I'm telling you.
He eviscerated us every day.
And it was wonderful.
He just barbecued Bammers all day long. And people would call in and say, well, this didn't happen. And he'd be like, yeah, it did. And we're going to have somebody on in just a minute to tell you all about it. And be like, oh, man.
Here comes another attorney.
I was like, please stop. Please stop. And finally, it's not like Alabama didn't pay their penance to get Nick Saban. We paid our price.
Yes, you did. You got Mike Shula.
Yeah, I remember him too. See, I did Mike Shula. I hated like Franchione. I hated him for a completely different reason than Mike Price, whom I hated for a different reason than Mike Shula. For Mike Shula, because I already loved him coming in, and all he had to do was just not do some things that were just mind-bogglingly crazy. Mm-hmm. The jumbo package thing.
Probably the same way a generation before us thought about Perkins. I'm
yeah.
guessing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but see, Perkins was in a no-win. Whoever follows Saban's in a no-win.
Oh, yeah.
You're in a no-win. How are you going to win? I mean, Les Miles. This is part of the problem with Les Miles. He's in Nick Saban's SEC right now. Mm-hmm. He followed Saban at LSU, where Saban woke up LSU, made them what they are. And then Miles just had to keep it afloat, and he dropped it a little bit. He didn't drop it much. He dropped it a little bit. The problem is he's always going to be compared to Nick Saban, and that's unfair to Les Miles. It just is. And I'm going to miss Les Miles because he was the passion, he was the color, he was the personality that SEC knows about. You go to the Big Ten. Big Ten may be a better conference than us this year, but they're not more fun.
No.
We're fun. Who wants to go see Purdue play Minnesota? But if somebody said, okay, you can go to South Carolina Ole Miss, okay, I'll go to the Grove.
Who wants to go watch Michigan State play football?
Yeah, you don't.
I'm sorry. It's almost, well, y'all put a nice spin on it a couple of different times in bowl games so far, at how far they are away from our top team. And unfortunately, I just threw up my mouth a little bit as I said that. 800-782-0108. Go ahead and take our last break. When we come back, Luke and I will close out our segment, and we'll close out the program tonight with the Auburn Blitz segment of the program, which is Brian Matthews being caught up with by Andy Graham this afternoon on Sports Call.
Purchasing a new home is easier than you think, and America's Home Place can show you the way. For over 41 years, we've built thousands of homes for people just like you. We guide you through the entire process from purchasing a lot, finding financial options, to putting the finishing touches on your beautiful new house. Come tour our showroom and see over 100 customizable floor plans. Visit us online at americashomeplace.com/TV for a free floor plan book. America's Home Place. We make building easy.
Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply is locally owned and operated with over 30 years experience providing a wide array of lumber, building materials, hardware, electrical and plumbing supplies, paint, tools, and garden products. Our employees' superior product knowledge and top-notch customer service allows us to help select the best products that will work for you. We provide free product estimates and takeoffs, free local delivery, and ask about our price match promise. Russell Do-It Center and Russell Building Supply. Experience and knowledge from the pros.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Your comfort is our #1 concern. Advanced Heat and Air.
Advanced Heating and Air makes your comfort their priority for any season. Advanced Heating and Air is the region's train dealer and an Alabama Power Superior Solutions dealer that can save you money and energy with a new electric heat pump. Advanced Heating and Air maintains the region's best service team, so rely on us to make your comfort our #1 concern. Call 234-5052, and we're there for you.
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
Gotta get to Gill's Auto Sales. We can finance, you got to get to Gill's. Selection and price, got to get to Gill's. Gotta get to Gill's.
Did you know that Gill's Auto Sales now features the Prestige Selection at their North Lake and Opelika locations? Gill's Auto Sales now has over 100 Prestige vehicles in stock. Newer models, low mileage with bank financing available. Come see the Prestige Selection at Gill's Auto Sales North Lake location and their new Opelika location. Gotta get to Gill's.
Luke, we start recruiting early, don't we, buddy? You and I were just during the break talking about the sophomore class over at Oxford High School, which I was able to see this past week. They had a sophomore running back go for 260 something, have a sophomore offensive tackle. His name's escaping me, but he's one of the top recruits in that class. Great-looking linebacker. I think his name was Kendall McCollum. Very tall already. It's amazing when you go around and you see these kids and they're freshmen and sophomores and they're already physically built. But you understand why Leonard Fournette's and Dylan Moses and those of the world, we all wanted them when they were in the 8th and 9th grade.
You're absolutely right. And it's funny you bring up Dylan Moses because that's a guy who you still look at him, he looks, oh my God, you're like, I just want him to suit up for my team. But, he's dropped in the rankings some because some people believe he's tapped out. I mean, that he's hit his ceiling. It's all sort of the Les Miles thing, but on a different scale, because you look at Les Miles and you're like, okay, I know we're going to win 9 or 10 games every year, maybe 11 occasionally, but we're not going to be winning championships as regular as I want, so I'm going to take my chances on some new guy. I mean, I don't mean to deviate from the recruiting talk, but if LSU goes for Tom Herman, what has Tom Herman really done so far? He beat Florida State in a bowl game, which is, great, but it's a bowl game that meant nothing.
Yeah.
And then he beat an Oklahoma team that just got waxed at home by Ohio State.
I tell you what I notice about Tom Herman, and I don't keep up with it anywhere near as much as others do, but I see he's actively thinking different. He's actively doing videos and social media, and there's always something really community-based cool that he's got going on with his team.
Right.
And I almost think it has to be that way. Now, you can be Nick Saban and you can be more of a behind closed doors, but he's like Bear was back in the day. He's kind of built that aura. But Nick Saban, way back when, I bet you when he came in the house, he was more of thinking out of the box, living in the gray area. I don't know how much in the gray area he has to live in anymore. But back to Tom Herman, I think he is constantly in the gray area.
Yeah.
Plus, he's a good football coach. Now, we'll have to see where it pans out if he ends up in the SEC, but that's what I see from the outside looking in.
And I don't mean it as an insult because I think Tom Herman's a great coach. And if you told me, hey, Nick Saban's leaving tomorrow and we hired Tom Herman, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
My point being that he hadn't been there long enough to say he's definitely better than Les Miles.
True.
That's the thing. I understand why LSU did it. I understand why Georgia fired Richt. But it's hard for me to say, I know for a fact Kirby Smart will be better than Mark Richt. I don't know that.
Is Lane Kiffin at Alabama next year?
No. And I think that I've said that the last few years, but I think this time I'm serious.
Which open spot would be willing to offer Lane Kiffin a job?
I think he needs to get out of the SEC. Mm-hmm. I think he needs to go to a Big 12 Baylor-ish. Oh, man, Baylor couldn't hire Lane Kiffin, though, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that'd be a little toxic. Yeah. That'd be a little slap in the face,
the way they're playing right now, do you think Jim Grove hangs around a few more years?
No.
No.
No,
you think
I think
he's
just totally interim, totally a Band-Aid.
Gotcha.
But I think he could go, what if Washington State said, Mike Leach, we tried this, it's not working. Washington State hiring Lane Kiffin.
I don't know that he'd do that.
What about Purdue? Is known to put, they were most known for quarterbacks for quite some time.
I think he's got too big of an ego.
To do at Purdue?
I think he'd rather stay at Alabama with Nick Saban.
I tell you what if Jimbo Fisher went to LSU and Lane Kiffin went to Florida State? I don't think LSU's hiring Lane Kiffin.
I don't either. I think Lane Kiffin's got a better chance of Tom Herman leaving and he going to Houston or something.
Him in Houston, there's a lot to do in Houston. I don't know if he needs to be in Houston.
I got to end the show on that. Wherever you were spending that one.
I had to watch my own words.
Well, it was fun tonight. I want to thank all of you for calling in. We've got Brian Matthews coming up next. He caught up with Andy Graham. That's our Auburn Blitz segment. We talked plenty about Alabama. I want to thank all of the Alabama calls that we got tonight. Again, that's what we do. Luke does another tremendous job on Talking Tuscaloosa. Luke, before we go off, the
podcast, we got one out right now. You can go see it on my Twitter feed, on the Sportz Blitz Live Twitter feed, or on @Talking Tuscaloosa.
And from our end, we're 3 days a week on Sports Call Auburn, 93.9 in the Auburn market, sportscallauburn.com, and we host on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, but it's a 5-day-a-week show from 4 to 6, so catch all 5 days, and we appreciate them working with us. So for Luke Robinson, Justin Mosley back there producing, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to Sports Blitz.
If you currently have an FHA mortgage, this commercial is for you. Most people that currently have an FHA mortgage are working with Home Place Mortgage to refinance their current loan. Several items have changed to make now the perfect time to refinance. FHA has reduced the amount of monthly mortgage interest. Current interest rates for FHA loans are at all-time lows. FHA has eliminated the need for new appraisal. Most people will be able to refinance with little or no closing costs. This is the opportunity that you have been waiting for. Call now to start saving.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
My parents got good news the other day. Mommy and Daddy were really happy. This is how happy they were. They were actually dancing. That was hard to watch. Whew, at least they didn't kiss.
Russell Medical Center, delivering future leaders of tomorrow, today.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products.
The majority of which are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why steel is #1 in America at steelusa.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Listen up.
Save over $10,000 on Ram 1500 crew cabs during Ram Power Days.
Lake Martin's Ram Truck Headquarters.
Buy it at Bice.
BiceChryslerDodge.com. You better hurry.
It's the Jeep Celebration event with the biggest savings of the year on every new Jeep in stock.
Drive in for the savings. Drive out with the win.
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Hey, well, it's good to hear from you today, Brian. Appreciate you joining us. How's everything going this week?
Everything's going pretty good.
Well, that sounds great. It was an interesting weekend for the Auburn Tigers. Certainly, you could look at this game a lot of different ways, a lot of different things you can take from it. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I think it was a very important win for Auburn, extremely important. They had to have this to, get some of the negativity away from the program, let those guys and coaches and players breathe a little bit. And now you look at the next two games, home against Louisiana Monroe Saturday, and then a big road trip to Mississippi State and the week off. They got a chance to get a lot better over the next 2 weeks. They got a chance to get 2 more big wins and maybe go into a home game against Arkansas with a 4-2 record and feeling a lot better about themselves.
Yeah, clearly this was an enormous game. It took Auburn, if nothing else, it removed them from some pretty dubious lists about losing streaks. Being the second longest to Colorado and all these kind of things. So it was an enormous win. I'm sure it took a lot of pressure off and just was an enormous sense of relief as far as the psyche of the team and maybe the fan base as well. But when you look at the game, clearly Auburn struggled inside the red zone. Although when you got Daniel Carlson, you feel like he certainly is a weapon. But Auburn would love to cash those in for touchdowns. How do we go about doing that, do you think?
Well, Gus said today in his press conference that was our #1 goal this week is to improve in the red zone. And, they did some good things. He mentioned they had 6 drives of 50 more yards, and it was actually it was 6 of Auburn's final 8 drives of the game. And, they had some breakdowns. They had a drop pass here or there, a couple of missed blocks down there at the end of the half. Just some different things that they can do better. And I think scheme-wise, I think they might want to try throwing on first down a little bit more down there, switching things up a little bit. But, I think there's probably a lot of little things that if they start doing them a little bit better, they can improve down there. And the other thing is, for Auburn in the past, this has been an offense that when it's good has had a lot of big plays and, not necessarily have to score in the red zone, but score even before you get to the red zone. So I think that's something they can do a little bit better too.
Yeah, that best drive of the night for Auburn, really 9 plays, 80 yards toward at the end of the second quarter. They drive down, really got first and goal at the 5-yard line. It was the third down play though. Auburn, I thought that they did what they do. They ran it and kind of just forced their way to about the 1-yard line. Did they? I don't know if this was mentioned in specifically. You kind of referenced it, I think, but was it a missed block, a missed assignment on third down, or was it a bad scheme that just left Kendall Beckwith wide open and unblocked?
Yeah, I don't know. I would imagine the plan was to block him. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so.
Braden or somebody just blocked the wrong guy, or it was a different guy that's supposed to have the assignment. I don't know exactly the specifics of that play, but clearly, somebody made a mistake in there. So, it's little things like that that can make a big difference. So when you get down the red zone and you're talking about an Auburn offense that's going up against a very talented LSU defense, and you got a lot less room to operate offensively, so you've got to be much more efficient down there.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem as a fan, not really being involved and knowing exactly the blocking and assignments and all that. Auburn has, from this at the beginning of the season and what we've seen so far, they've had some blocking schemes that looked like they were executed properly, but they just were bad design. So I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's a missed assignment or a bad design. So I just wondered if that was mentioned, but I appreciate it. Defensively, Auburn has continued to play with a passion that we've seen and become accustomed to all season. And I think Carl Lawson finally looked like the guy that maybe we all were hoping that he would be.
Absolutely, he did. The 2 sacks, the 3 other quarterback hurries, just really played with a lot of intensity. And then, you want your great players to come up and in the crucial times and make a play. And that sack he had there on that final drive forced LSU to use their final timeout. It cost them who knows how many seconds. But, as we saw at the end of that game, they needed a couple more seconds. And that made that sack really big for Auburn and Carl Lawson.
Well, it comes out before the game. Gus has relinquished play calling duties. It's Rhett Lashley's show now as far as play calling is concerned. He said it's going to be that way from now on. How do you go back, or what do you do with, going back to last year when, you go to, Texas A&M and Gus says, well, Rhett did a great job of calling plays. I mean, has he ever called plays? Do we think that he did, or I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what the question I'm trying to ask is.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to know what to do exactly before. It really is, because they were always non-specific about it, and they shared it, and et cetera, et cetera. But I do know this. We do know that going into the season, after last year, in the spring and summer, Gus talked about it. He didn't want to be the CEO. He wanted to concentrate on the offense, get back to his roots of coaching. We saw the results of that. It wasn't very good for whatever reasons. Gus said personality-wise, he was too angry. He was, not relating well to his players and coaches. And he decided last week to sort of step back and let his coaches do their jobs and be more of a head coach and do the head coaching things and try to loosen the team up a little bit. And I think it worked pretty good. So we'll see how everything works out going forward. But I think this is a decision that is pretty permanent. I don't think there's going to be any waffling. I think he's moving in this direction. We'll see how it works out.
Well, let me ask you this. Trey Williams, of course, is disqualified from the game because of a hit, and should have been. I mean, it's difficult when a quarterback is going down. I think that's the hardest one that I look at and say I just don't know how you apply that rule really correctly when a quarterback is going to the ground. It's hard. It's a moving target downward. How are you not supposed to dip your head? But the Trey Williams hit versus the Arden Key hit, I looked at that, and especially when it happened live, and I said, I don't know how there is a rule if that's not the same thing. He looked like to me he clearly lowered his head and went to the head or neck area of Sean White. Did you see it that way?
I did see it that way. It looked to me like he purposely pulled his head back and sort of pushed his helmet forward to make contact, head-to-head contact. So I thought that was a clear targeting call, and they didn't make it for whatever reason. So, again, I think this is an issue with the SEC in college football, where it's a rule that I guess is now in its second year, if I'm not mistaken. I still think it's one that's too ambiguous right now.
Well, Les Miles, no more at LSU. He has nibbled his final blade of grass in Tiger Stadium. So we bid him adieu. Do you think that was – did you see that coming, or were you shocked by that?
I was a little shocked by it, absolutely. I did not think they would do it this early in the season. I mean, we're talking about week 4. I mean, come on. Why?
Bob bought a Camry. Neighbor Ted bought a Sonata Sport at Hyundai of Auburn and paid $2,000 less. He has no payment for 6 months, saving $3,000 cash flow. With his savings, he bought a boat. Every time Bob sees Ted's boat, it makes him sad. He paid too much. Ted is trying to make Bob happy again by inviting him fishing. Be a Ted at Hyundai of Auburn. What will you do with the money you save?
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
WAXC TV3 Sports presents the high school football game of the week with the Central Clay County Volunteers, Central Coosa, Horseshoe Bend, Reeltown, and more from WAXC TV3 Sports, and available on demand at WKGA975.com. Brought to you by these fine sponsors. All area matchups all season long on the WAXC TV3 Sports High School Game of the Week.